o'clock. We'll kick off the January 15th Sherburne County Economic Development Authority meeting. I would be looking for a motion to approve the minutes from December 18th, 2025.
I'll make a motion.
Todd's on the board.
Second.
Laura, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed?
Aye.
I would take a motion or motion to approve today's agenda, which is long but fast.
I'll make the motion, Kevin.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed?
Aye.
On to regular business. So we're combining our annual meeting with our regular meeting, so that's why there's so many action items on here, but they should go relatively quick. I was gonna kick this portion over to Dan, but I see that he got ahead of me and put it back on me, so. Well played, Dan, well played. So number one on the agenda is consider election of Sherburne County EDA officers. It does have your name.
Does,
Did you want
yeah.
to speak to this? Or?
We can, so every year, just reappointing the positions, so we have board chair, vice chair, treasurer, and assistant treasurer. So, for chair, I don't think I can nominate chair, but.
No, and I've been driving the county and Ken's got his signs in the yard, so I think he's interested in rerunning.
Yeah, no,
I would make a motion to elect Ken Drew as our board chair again for EDA.
yeah, you would do that too.
I'll
I
second.
would.
Seconded by Laura, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And for vice chair, currently we have Andy Buller from last year, so.
I'll make a motion for Andy.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Then for treasurer, we have Todd from last year.
Keep Todd as the treasurer?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we have assistant treasurer as Jared.
I'll make a motion, we keep Jared as assistant treasurer?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have it on the list, but we have Laura as secretary. I think that's a position too.
We do. I'll make a motion to keep Laura as secretary.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is that a really heavy job where the treasurer needs a treasurer and assist? I mean, I know it is, you know.
It's brutal.
It's by statute.
Yeah.
By statute, we have to have an assistant treasurer.
All right.
It's as heavy as you needing an assistant too, Mr. Chair.
I do, yeah, I do. All right, so according to this, then we're down to the approval of our designated newspaper.
Oh, the executive director for number 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so that you need to be nominated too. Okay, be looking for a motion to keep Brian as executive director for another year.
I make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Appreciate it.
All right, now we'll consider the approval of the official newspaper, which is designated as the Patriot News Record. And most of these, when we're newspaper, financial institutions, we're just aligning ourselves with what the county does, so let's be quick.
I make a motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Designation of depositories.
That's the same Bank of Elk River.
Bank of Elk River.
I'll make a motion, we keep the state Bank of Elk River as our depository. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And
Aye.
opposed? All right, the designated meeting place during the calendar years, I would go with Tootsie's and Big Lake. Nope, okay, then we're probably gonna meet here, but I still need a motion.
I'll make a motion, we keep our meetings here at the Sherburne County Government Center.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? The meeting dates. of, the EDA. I think you did wanna discuss this one.
Yeah, so we had talked about, so right now, we're the third Thursday of every month, and that's what we have been doing. A few board members that is tricky, so for this room availability, and from what we were able to see, the other availability we have would be the first Thursday of every month. And so that would be a change. So we do have to choose one or the other, and those are kind of our two options that we have available to us. So I'm not sure as far as discussion goes, if anyone has a strong preference of either the first Thursday of the month or the third Thursday of the month.
I'm open to either one, so if it does help out other people's schedule, whatever works best.
Either one's fine with me.
Either one's fine with me.
Same here.
Does the first Thursday help for your guys' schedule, because you brought up that the third would be?
Yeah, my schedule's full, so I will be here as much as I can. Let's try the first Thursday if people want to.
So that might work better for you, but not
Hopefully.
guaranteed.
I can't guarantee it.
Commissioners, do you have any thoughts?
I'm looking at my calendar right now. The only concern I have is for months where we have, where the month begins on Wednesday. And I think there's only a couple of those. Cause other than that, it's in between the two board meetings, so it shouldn't be an issue. But, as far as I can tell, for the most part, it seems to be okay.
Okay. Well, somebody's gonna have to make a motion, either the first or the third.
I'll make a motion to move the meeting to the first Thursday of each month
Okay.
at 8:03 a.m.
That's good. Okay, we do have a motion to go from the third to the first.
I'll second.
And it's on with the second, all in favor?
Just for discussion, quick.
Oh,
Do you want a meeting in February? Because that's 2 weeks away. That's fine with us, just throwing that out there, but that's only about 15 days away.
Well, I think that would be more, a question for you, could you, prepare things that would be relevant or needed to come down for?
It might be beneficial to have that meeting in 2 weeks, because I think we'd want to talk about our billboard decisions at that point. So that would probably be a shorter agenda, but that would be worth having a conversation about.
I'm okay with that. We all get extra day of pay, so.
So that would be February 5th for everyone. That's pretty quick here.
And we usually skip July just because it's a big vacation month, so do you want to keep that plan where we do not have a July meeting? Okay.
I'm okay with that. And so you'll send out new, invites and reminders, several reminders, yes?
Yes, absolutely.
Did we get a vote on this?
No.
Okay.
I rudely interrupted you.
You did. All in favor of moving our meetings to the first Thursday of the month?
Aye.
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 All right, change is good. All right, so we then are on the bylaws. You've all had an opportunity, they're included in your package, you've all had an opportunity to read or review those. Make changes, discussions, we did go through them pretty thoroughly a few years ago, so I went through them, and I didn't see any changes, but if not, I'd look for a motion to approve.
We don't even need a motion, it's
Oh, we
just
don't?
if we want to make changes, it's provide direction to staff to bring those
Okay.
back.
Well, then did anybody see any changes? Okay, great. So that brings us down to, the presentation by the Greater St. Cloud. That's it.
That's
right?
it,
Yeah,
yep,
they
so,
changed the
and
name.
Natalia might, start with that, but yeah, it's not a typo, they are now Greater St. Cloud, that is the full name.
That is, well, thank you, Brian. Let me just give me a minute here so I can get my screen shared. All right. Can everyone see that?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I can't see what you see for some reason, so I just want to make sure. Okay. All right. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me. I appreciate the invitation, Brian. And as you alluded to, the timing really couldn't be better. We've just launched a new brand and a new strategic plan. So what I was hoping to do is really just review, who we are, what we do, highlight a few of our wins from 2025, and then share more about our strategic plan and where we're headed in 2026 and beyond. All right. So again, for those who may not know me, I'm Nataya Bowman, President and CEO of Greater St. Cloud. Many you may have known us as the Greater St. Cloud Development Corporation, or GSDC. And with our new brand, we've simplified our name to just Greater St. Cloud, or GSC. This is in alignment with other peer economic development organizations. Think about Greater MSP, Greater Bemidji, Greater Fargo-Moorhead. So we just really wanted to simplify in that respect. Really, it is, new brand, new name, but same trusted partner. We also have the same mission, but we do have a new tagline as well: regional currents guided by vision. And I'll share a little bit more about that later. So let's see. Okay. So we, again, are a regional nonprofit economic development organization that provides inclusive and equitable economic development, serving Stearns, Sherburne, and Benton counties, with most programming focused within a 25-mile radius of St. Cloud. That said, when communities beyond that core 25-mile area need guidance, we step in if and when needed. We're here to really support those communities and businesses as requested. We are a small but mighty team of 5. Leslie Dingman is our business development director. Gail is our talent and community impact director, which she just received a new title this year as well. As a result of our strategic plan, her work has changed a bit. So if you are familiar with Gail, she is really focused on talent, but then the things that affect talent as well. So childcare, housing, and etc. And then we have Tammy Campion, who is our communication and program specialist, and then Jenny Weber, who serves as our operations and program coordinator. Our team is supported by a 22-member board of directors, and together we are guided by a new strategic plan that is built around 3 pillars. 1 is unified regional leadership. 2, supporting businesses at every stage. 3, amplifying the region's return. And these are all reinforced by 5 cross-cutting enablers that really strengthen coordination, execution, and long-term impact. And I'll come back to these shortly, but before we do that, I just want to review our 2025 highlights first. So typically, I would share with you actual metrics and KPIs, but you are my first meeting of the year, and we are still tabulating all of our metrics for our annual report that will go out here in about 3 weeks. So for this particular meeting, you're just going to get some high level wins. So in May, with business development, that's really our core. We opened Stageworks at the Davidson Opera House. This is a hybrid entrepreneur and business hub that offers a really affordable space for startups, small businesses, and nonprofits. And very excited to share that as of yesterday, our private offices are all now fully leased. We've got a really nice balanced mix of some early stage startups, some existing businesses needing to expand, as well as nonprofits. And so we still have cubicle space left, but those private offices went fairly quickly. So we're very encouraged by the warm welcome and clear need that we're serving in the community in that respect. Stageworks also serves as a platform for education, ecosystem building, and collaboration through programs like Startup Connect. And later this spring, Greater St. Cloud will be relocating and moving all of our offices over there as well. So if you haven't been and would like a tour, feel free to reach out, and I would be glad to show you around. This project, we couldn't have done this without the support of many regional partners. We've got Arvig, Kinder Coffee, and Brian Schoenborn, the property owner, whose sponsorships have really helped reduce operating costs for those growing businesses. So we're, again, grateful for all of our partners. We also partnered with the cities of St. Cloud and Foley to award 5 DEED Main Street Economic Revitalization grants that support 4 downtown St. Cloud projects and 1 in downtown Foley. Because these grants required a 70% leveraged loan, they will actually result in millions of dollars of new tax base growth. So we're really eager to see those programs, or those projects rather, come to completion here later this summer. We also continue to support Niron Magnetics, which broke ground on a 200,000 square foot, it's their phase 1 production facility in Sartell. This represents a projected $400 million capital investment and 175 high-paying jobs, with operations anticipated in later 2027. This, as you know, it's a permanent, it is the first of its kind, first to market permanent non-rare earth magnet production technology. It's really nationally and internationally significant, and it's going to be rooted right here in our region. So we're really excited to see where that goes as well. And, we had the opportunity to participate from the beginning, site selection. Now we've moved on to the workforce and talent development portion of that. And it's really exciting just to see the interest and really get Niron better connected, not just to the community of Sartell, but the broader region as well. And that is a great segue into our talent and workforce work. So our Gail, who's our talent and community impact director, she was appointed to the governor's workforce development board last year. This is wonderful because we can bring a central Minnesota and outstate perspective to that particular board, which really has a focus on larger metros, particularly the Twin Cities metro. So she'll actually be serving in that capacity through 2029. We also hosted the very first Disrupt HR event here in St. Cloud. It featured 12 speakers and more than 200 attendees, and the response was so strong that we were able to immediately schedule the next event, which is set for September 24th. I like to share about this one. We actually worked with the coordinator. These are typically held in much larger cities, Minneapolis, Fargo, Madison, Wisconsin. And we worked with the coordinator for Minneapolis, and their first event a few years ago brought 100 attendees. And so that was kind of our baseline. We thought, well, with our population, the number of employers that we have, we feel that 100 would be a viable first year goal. And we actually doubled that. So there is some really exciting interest there. And if you haven't had a chance to attend, I would definitely encourage it. It's a great way to learn and share about new and emerging trends in HR and really how you can level up as an employer in terms of attraction and retention. All right, moving on to promotion of the region. 2025 was a big year for us. We coordinated a My Town series episode, season 2, episode 4, which featured St. Joseph and the broader Greater St. Cloud region. Since airing on November 23rd, it's surpassed 60,000 views and is currently the most viewed episode of the entire season. So we are thrilled about that. This is really considered what we consider an evergreen storytelling asset that captures why people choose to stay, why they return, and why they invest, build careers, and raise families here in the Greater St. Cloud region. If you haven't had a chance to see that episode, it's available on YouTube. And in the next slide, I'll actually share a QR code for you, which will help you easily find it. In terms of improving quality of life, we supported the Rural Child Care Innovation Program in Becker, helped advance the Regional 7W Economic Development District by supporting Initiative Foundation, and obviously Sherburne County has been a strong leader in that respect. We also launched IMPLAN, which is an economic impact modeling service. After piloting over the last year, we actually led 4 analyses for different communities and companies. And this year we've already started 3, and it's only January 15th. So we're eager to see where that takes us. This, if you're unfamiliar, it's a tool that we can offer cities, counties, and businesses to quantify direct, indirect, and induced economic impact for any given project. So if you are exploring tax abatement, tax increment financing, we can actually help you identify and quantify what that long-term ROI would be to your particular region and beyond. It's been really beneficial to inform decision-making in that respect. So if you're interested, I would be happy to discuss that further with you all. All right, so here is the My Town episode, and in the coming weeks, all of our cities, counties, larger employers, higher ed institutions, they're all going to be receiving a partner amplification toolkit, because what we're finding is, yes, the episode is titled St. Joseph because it was a smaller community, but really it does span and tells the story of many different communities and stories in Greater St. Cloud. So it's going to be a really important tool for all of you to use in your talent attraction efforts as well. So it's free on YouTube. If you go to the My Town series page, you will get a copy of the slide deck, and it is linked digitally. So all you have to do is click on that link and it will bring you directly to the page, or you can grab your phone, scan that QR code. It will bring you there as well. All right, and then here's just a fun few snapshots of our team doing the work that we love. These were some of the highlights from 2025. All right, moving on to our strategic plan. So we developed this over 12 months using a data-driven, asset-based approach. It included stakeholder engagement, benchmarking from peer EDO organizations, time use analysis, and regional economic development data. And it resulted in a 3-pillar plan. Pillar 1, unified regional leadership. This includes regional messaging tools, infrastructure, policy roundtables, a civic onboarding protocol for new and elected leaders, and a public investment playbook to align and advance shared regional priorities. So unified regional leadership is intended to strengthen the region's ability to speak, plan, and act together across sectors and jurisdictions. Our second pillar is supporting business at every stage. This is really important. This is business retention and expansion. It's attraction, and it's startup and entrepreneurship, as well as succession and exit strategy. So what this hopes to do, or what we hope to do here, is just expand and modernize support for businesses across the entire life cycle. And then third is amplifying the region's return, which hopes to demonstrate compelling value to outside and inside investors and partners of the region through consistent reporting, relationship building, and strategic engagement. So on the first pillar, unified regional leadership goals, this, again, it's going to be, think regional messaging tools for collective and shared messaging to help reshape our region's perception, both internally and externally. Regional infrastructure policy to help secure new and different pots of money across the region. civic onboarding protocol. This is, again, really just making sure that newly elected officials, staff, and institutional leaders are aware of regional economic development efforts as soon as possible. And then also working with our counties, our cities, and other institutions in developing a public investment playbook. Our second is, again, supporting business goals. So this looks like startup support, business retention, expansion. I've already mentioned that, particularly capital access, which is something that businesses through all stages of the life cycle need better support with. We'll continue sector-based business retention and expansion visits. We generally, our goal is to conduct 100 visits annually. And this year we'll be introducing quarterly BR&E, as we call them, briefing sheets for investors as well. And then we are very excited. It hasn't been announced yet, but we are part of the coalition that received another round of funding through DEED's Small Business Assistance Partnership Program. Last year, we were able to launch a program called Thrive Minnesota to provide mentorship support for startups and small businesses, and we're now able to expand with capital access mapping and business succession support as well. So we're excited to get back to work with that, and that actually is aligned with the Initiative Foundation's 14 county regions. So we'll actually be able to drum up additional support for our region through that pathway. And then our third pillar, again, amplifying the region's return. This includes refreshed investor tier models and the launch of our ROI progress dashboard, which we are really excited about. This is going to debut along our new website, hopefully next week. The dashboard tracks regional economic health. It pulls data automatically from the Census Bureau, from the Federal Reserve. So it gives a real-time snapshot of what our specific region's economic health looks like. It also will have our interactive strategic plan, so you'll be able to at any time click through each of our pillars, see all of the specific details of our goals, what those KPIs look like, and updated on a quarterly basis, you'll be able to see how we're doing. How are we advancing all of those efforts on a quarterly basis? And that really just kind of speaks to the transparency. Let's see. Okay. And then across all three pillars are cross-cutting enablers. These better support the work that we do in those three pillars and really serve as a value add. So you'll see us spending some more time with civic infrastructure and leadership, industry specialization, and federal funding coordination, which, as you know right now, is incredibly challenging. So that work is still to be determined. Some of this work also overlaps or really aligns with the function of the Economic Development District. And so we are making ourselves available to better support the EDD board and the counties that it represents in that way as well. And then lastly, land use and housing alignment. So this is the first time that Greater St. Cloud as an organization explicitly calls out housing as one of our activities. So we'll get more involved in that, really to support and complement the work of others. And then lastly, talent retention and return. It's not just about talent attraction today, it's really about retaining the talent that we have, whether it's K through 12, college, or current workforce as it is. So these are not standalone initiatives. They are really what we call force multipliers. So this is, again, just going to add value to the work that we do. So what is ahead in 26 specifically? Really, we're looking for greater alignment, greater clarity, and greater return on investment for the entire region. So these on the screen here are just some of the shorter term goals and opportunities that we have ahead of us that we're working toward. 5-point regional messaging concept, again, shared messaging to help enhance our region's perspective, so that we can better attract business talent and investment. We're expanding St. Cloud Shines, continuing to provide support to the Economic Development District. We are working with the U of M Extension to bring the Connecting Entrepreneurial Communities Conference to our region in 2026, hosting Disrupt HR, and again, expanding Thrive programming to provide better support to startups, small businesses, and existing legacy firms who are looking to transition. Whatever that looks like for them, if it's retirement, if they're just exiting to sell, we are working on a very specific program called Entrepreneurship Through Acquisition, which helps connect individuals that have dollars, they have capital to invest, they want to be an entrepreneur, but they may not have the idea. They want to invest in existing businesses, and those businesses are looking to exit for a number of reasons. So that will actually help us retain business, investment, and talent here in our region. And again, ultimately, I just want to remind you that our goal is really to help connect the dots between communities, employers, talent, and those areas of opportunity, so that when one part of our region moves, we all move forward. All right, with that, I'll pause here. I know I ran through that really quickly, but I welcome your questions. Other perspectives and any ideas. Again, we don't need to talk about it today, but just know here's our contact information as well, and I would be happy to meet with you individually and as needed.
Thank you, Natalia. I wanted to add too, I appreciate the partnership we have with Greater St. Cloud, and I overlap a lot with you and your staff, and really with Gail a lot on the workforce development side. One thing I wanted to mention is that Greater St. Cloud has a job page called JobSpot, and one of the things that their job page does that is really robust is they scrape from a lot of the other job posting sites, and so they're able to pull jobs for our entire region, all of Sherburne County, not just the Becker side. So they're able to get all of the counties. So I'm working with our Sherburne Biz site to try and find a way to link to that JobSpot site, since there's a scraping very well for the jobs. So, and you mentioned the StageWorks, which is the offices in St. Cloud for entrepreneurs. I know we have at least one Sherburne County entrepreneurship business operating out of there. And I think we may have another that's looking into it. So we definitely have some entrepreneurs utilizing that. And then definitely thank you for all this Region 7W EDD work. Greater St. Cloud is the one that put out the survey to all the cities asking what the priorities are for our region. So we appreciate your work on that too.
All right.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Mr.
Brian.
Chair?
Sorry, what?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Brian, is there a possibility of getting a copy of her slide presentation?
Absolutely.
Pardon?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh, perfect.
Brian, I sent it to you in PDF. If you want me to send it to you in PowerPoint, I can do that as well, whichever format works best.
Yeah, PDF is,
Thank you.
but yep, we'll get that sent out.
All right, any other questions, comments, concerns? All right, thank you very much.
All right, well, thank you. Have a good day.
All right, brings us to item 9, which is a presentation of Outfront Media discussing our billboards.
And you'll see in the agenda that the name is Stephanie Stoll. This is not Stephanie. No. Stephanie had a prior engagement. So we get Chloe Boyton today, and Chloe and I have been working the last week or so to pull together this presentation on Outfront Media. Again, this is that digital billboards that our message would bump around the different billboards. The board asked for more clarification on that, so Chloe is here to give a short presentation on what that package looks like. And then before I pass it over to Chloe, I did want to show, based on the board's recommendation, these are the changes that the board requested from last month. So this is what our copy looks like now, what our creative looks like. So you'll see in Chloe's slide, she did an outstanding job kind of putting that into her pictures. So you'll see that in some of the pictures. So I will stop talking so that Chloe can do her presentation. We'll load that up here.
Well, good morning, everyone. As Brian mentioned, Stephanie could not be here today, so I am here on behalf of Outfront Media. We are among the 3 largest out-of-home companies here in the U.S., and I represent their local team based out of the Twin Cities, so we are in Minneapolis. So want to just quickly touch base and walk through the strategy that we've put together for you guys to bring business to Sherburne County. So too fast. Okay, so we have a platform called Digital Direct Advertising. You'll hear me refer to it as DDA as well, so same thing. We use that interchangeably. But essentially this is a Outfront specific platform that we have created that really allows flexibility as far as getting your ads out to the marketplace. We noticed a couple years ago that the way people wanted to advertise on our digital boards had kind of shifted. So there was a need to find a solution to bring smaller to medium-sized companies who wanted a bigger outreach, more market coverage, a solution to do advertising if they didn't necessarily have the budget of, the Chris Lindalls of the world. So we created this platform called DDA, and it essentially allows us to utilize up to our entire market coverage, that's 42 digital boards, to push out your message throughout the day versus you having to buy a traditional flip on each and every one of those digital boards, which, as you can imagine, adds up very quickly. So a couple of key benefits to this is obviously speed to market. You can push your message out, within a day. If that's how quickly you wanted to jump up on our boards. Buying efficiencies, we take a look at real life data to essentially rank our boards according to your audience types. So understanding that instead of throwing an ad out there and hoping it sticks or hoping you're getting in front of the right people, we have the data to back it up and to really make sure that every single one of your dollars is being spent in front of your target market. Target by impressions, target by audience, as I mentioned, and then we also have a couple other capabilities that I will walk through as part of how this helps you. So as I mentioned, we currently have 42 digital boards. Here's a map of all of them spread out throughout the Twin Cities DMA. We, as I mentioned, leverage target audience data, essentially allowing us to place all of your ads on the boards ranked amongst the highest against. For example, I pulled data for business owners and business partners. And then we also did a cross-reference across a list of all the fastest growing companies in Minnesota in 2025. It was a pretty extensive list, so that's great news for you all. But wanted to make sure that we were spreading out throughout the DMA, but also finding the boards that ranked highest against those business owners. So for example, at a $10,000 spend for the year, you're looking at 2.5 million impressions across the entire year. If you were to spread those out between all 42 boards, it gets very, very thin. So what we wanted to do is take a look at kind of where that sweet spot is to get you enough coverage on each of the boards, where you're gonna get that repeat recognition from business owners. So what I did is I narrowed it down to the top 13 boards. Where there's a little room to play with this as well, so we can inflate and deflate throughout the year depending on how well the campaign is performing to kind of change those metrics. But these are the boards that we identified as far as, having the most business owners, business partners driving by them. We also are gonna take it 2 steps further. So we have the ability to day part, which means just during those rush hour peak times, right? So when business owners are driving into work and out of work. And then we take it one step further to really make sure that we're not wasting any single impression. And we can create an audience group that now tracks the hot spots of where those business owners are. So let's say we find that 94 corridor is really hot during the 7:30 and 8 a.m. It will start pinging boards depending on how many business owners are actually driving through that view shed of that individual digital board. So really great way to make sure that we are, again, not wasting dollars, not throwing impressions out that are not going to directly translate in front of your audience. And then I did want to include, so billboards obviously work in tandem really well with other marketing strategies. So if that is something that you guys have set up as far as social media campaigns, print, in-home, things like that, these are gonna get you essentially a boost in all of that. Trying to think what else I've got here. Out-of-home increases action. Sorry, they're really small, but I will share this with the group. I believe that's it. We've got a really great couple more, benefits of long-term billboard locations. So we know that obviously consistent recognition and consistent messaging plays a huge part in how this translates to business owners. So whether they are consciously or subconsciously making that decision, after seeing that ad multiple times in a row, that does influence their decision. And then here's a really great photo. I plugged your ad into one of our digital billboards. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Brian, do you have anything to add on as to where you're at with this?
I think you clarified a few points that the board had questions on. I know we'd wanted to see, can we narrow it to drive times? And it sounds like we can. And it sounds like you have some logistics out there somewhere to figure out how business owners are driving. So that's an interesting point too. And just a reminder to the board, this was the one that we pulled forward because this was the only one where we could spread out that 10,000 budget over a year. Any other billboard option was closer to 8 weeks for that same budget, 8 to 12 weeks. So, but definitely wanted to have questions from the board. Anything you're thinking about, any difficulties you have with this, Chloe is here to be able to answer questions.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you.
Just a couple of quick questions. So so when we narrow it down to a dozen or so billboards, does that still come out to approximately 2.5 million total impressions over the course of the year?
Yes, so the impression count doesn't change. What we're just doing is, I guess, hyper-targeting those impressions against your target audience versus spreading them out throughout the entire market where you're not gonna have the same people seeing the ads on repeat throughout the year.
So is there an estimate then of the 2.5 million impressions versus our target audience? Is there an estimate of the number of repeat impressions on average per individual target?
Yeah, that's a great question. We do not have that audience data, but we do know the percentage of small business owners, business owners, partners that are seeing the ads. So while you can't get repeat pings, you know that it does take a few times, right, for someone seeing an ad to make a decision or kind of have that influence a buying decision. So you're getting that with this option.
What's the size of the, or do you have an estimate of the size of the target audience utilizing those dozen boards?
I do, yeah. So your audience data, just if we're looking at the boards, is 16%, which is very high. That being said, though, what we're going to do is take it one step further and then just target those. So while we know all the boards in the pool have 16% viewership of business owners, we're now gonna pop it around throughout the day as they're driving through that view shed.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up, Ryan, what, next meeting, is when we're gonna look at further discussion, making a decision on this?
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do, especially if the next meeting is in 2 weeks. So, using that time to consider through this, see if we'd like to move forward with out front, with $10,000 over the year as pitched today, or if there's any modifications we need to make, or if we want to go with some other plan, but, actually getting a board vote in 2 weeks then.
Any other comments? A great presentation, thank you very much. It helped me visualize exactly, kind of put things together, so that's not always easy. We'll move on to 10. And that's all you. Well, no, it's Dan too.
Yeah. So I will give Dan the clicker here.
It's just 3 slides, Brian, if you wanna, I'll tell you when to switch. We just hit our 10-year mark of the revolving loan fund, so I wanted to give a quick summary of some of the successes we've had. So go ahead. This is just an overall summary, 12 total loans, so just over 1 a year. You can see the amount, we've had over 862,000 that was loaned to area businesses. 6 loans have already been paid off, and some of those have already taken the next transition where they moved into a facility and then built a bigger facility. Over $20 million in project costs based on those loans, and we've been told a lot of those projects would not have happened without our program. 253 jobs were retained and added, and then we have about 250,000 that's still in our balance. So as it goes out, it comes back in when the loans are repaid, and we are earning about $15,000 a year in interest. So the program is really self-sustaining. That $15,000 also pays CMDC to manage our funds. So there's no levy funds being used to have CMDC manage it. And then I have a quick summary here. These are the 12 companies we've helped, and it's a good variety from childcare to mental health to manufacturing to construction to a bowling alley and breweries. So we've really had a wide variety of different industries that this program has helped. And then the last slide, Brian, is just a loan by loan of what the amount was, what the total projects costs led to, the existing jobs retained, new jobs, and then what status the loan is in. You can see we've had several that have been paid off, as I mentioned. And we did have one that sold the business. So that's the only one that's still not operating. It was CNC Magnets, and it's just kind of technology took away some of their mission and value. So we have the 342,000 that's still outstanding, 250,000 more to loan. So keep letting businesses know that it's out there. It's been very successful.
Yeah, great program. It's fun to hear when something's actually working well from top to bottom, so.
Yeah, and we've had no defaults, no late payments, so we've been very, very fortunate in that way.
Yeah, and some quality companies up there, so. All right. Brings us to our announcement, part of our program today. Starting with you, Brian.
Absolutely. I'll kind of scroll down so you can have it on the big screen too. But since we just talked about marketing, I'll touch on that first. I have reached out to a lot of businesses on the SEO, social media marketing to go along with our Sherburne Biz and what that could look like. The feedback that I've gotten so far from about 5 different companies that I've met with that are local marketing companies is that we could definitely, they would recommend social media marketing to drive people to Sherburne Biz, specifically the business owners and business decision makers that were looking to consider Sherburne County as part of their business. They would not really recommend an SEO campaign, which is like driving people through Google search, because our business owners that are considering moving into Sherburne County probably aren't jumping onto Google and saying, why should I move my business to Sherburne County? So because we're targeting business owners, business decision makers, the SEO side wouldn't be as strong because we're not just targeting anybody that's saying, oh, what's in Sherburne County? We're targeting very specific demographic. And on that, on the social media side, most from the 5 companies that I spoke with on discovery calls, 4 of them strongly recommend that we consider some sort of LinkedIn ad campaign, because through LinkedIn, you can get really specific on your targeted audience, and LinkedIn is well designed for business to business. And so while I know there's different thoughts about LinkedIn in this group, it seems like for Sherburne Biz, if we're really trying to target businesses and business owners that are considering a second location or actually moving out of the Twin Cities, we can target better through LinkedIn and run an ad that either is just our creative, the billboard, or the billboard with some description of the top 3 or 5 reasons why you'd want to move your business into Sherburne County, and then run that as an ad on LinkedIn. So that's as far as we've gotten with the conversation so far. And so I'm trying to think through the timelines. I don't think I'll have anything ready in the meeting in 2 weeks, partly because I'll be in California for some of that time. So for a family funeral. So when we do our meeting in March, I'd like to have a presentation to the group. Maybe have 1 or 2 of the companies kind of present on what LinkedIn marketing looks like and if it's something we want to consider. And again, that would be an expense to us. We try to throw out a smaller dollar range for them, $4,000 or $5,000 over the year, and a lot of them kind of balked at that low amount. So it's just like billboards, anything advertising, they want to see closer to $6,000 or $7,000 for LinkedIn ads over a year. So it's something for us to consider too, is how much we want to invest in this. And on the investment side too, I did want to give the update. We did reach out to the cities on contributing to this, the billboard campaign and the advertising campaign. The main response we've kind of gotten back and is just they're kind of waiting to see what we end up deciding as far as what billboard and what deciding that way. And then there are a few cities that are hesitant to throw any money toward it unless they see their city represented in the creative or anything else. So that's where that stands too. I just wanted to share that with the board because I know that we had wanted to ask the cities for participating financially to this campaign. So we're still working through that. So yeah, so what I'll do then is in the March board, we'll have a presentation on what social media advertising could look like to drive traffic, our specific audience to Sherburne Biz. So that's it on the marketing side. I'd say another good update is that we have our 3rd participant approved for the homeowner rehabilitation loan program. That is a failing leaking roof. So she is approved for that, and that work will actually happen in spring, obviously, but she is approved for the program now. And again, we're seeing kind of an uptick in interest in this program as the word is getting out there. And the uptick we're really seeing is this program catches really well for people that have a credit score under 620, because then they don't qualify for the state's programs. So it's almost like they automatically qualify for ours. And so every time we spread that word that there's no credit score, oh wow, that's no other funding program out there like that. So getting a lot of good attention there. And we're continuing to mark it out. I'm trying to be part of any panels, discussions, interviews that will have me to kind of just keep sharing the word about Sherburne County. So I'm trying to stay really busy on that regard. I think that those are, oh, and then on the child care side, so the state did put out a update on their modernization policy. These are all of the modernization policies that our child care centers and providers are going to have to face if they are approved by our legislature. And I will have a further update on this probably by the February board.
Right, I just got a text, HHS will be here next meeting to summarize this.
Perfect. So directly from HHS. Again, it's a 137-page document that talks about all the policy updates that are coming our way for childcare. These policy updates are the ones that are kind of scaring some of our providers because there are gonna be significant changes for some, especially on the centers. So I'm glad that HHS will be able to be here to speak to it. And I think those were our updates. SherburnBiz.com is live. It is getting a lot of hits, and I'm be curious to see how we track those hits over the next few months. In February, I'll be able to give a analytics board to see how we did for the month of January for traffic, where the traffic's coming from, and see more of the analytics there. So we'll be able to present that in February.
Great. Any questions for Brian? All right, we'll move on to Mitch. Ordinance rewrite process update.
Yeah. So I'll kind of give an overview of where we're at. And Mark, Ryan, if you want to chime in. If I'm missing anything, we're about 7 months in. We had our third meeting on Tuesday this week with our steering committee and internal partners. Internal partners, we mainly focused on the subdivision ordinance. Steering committee, we focused on land use, setbacks, zoning districts, but the conversation kind of had a round table. And the conversation more went to, which helps with EDA and housing, was like soil, like buildable lot area. So basically, in the general rural, Big Lake, Livonia area, minimum lot size is 2.5 acres. In the Ag District, Palmer Township, Clear Lake Township, San Diego, the minimum is 5 acres. Topic of discussion was reducing that minimum lot size to 1.5 acres. We just view that, obviously with the housing, 2.5 acres, you know, you only need 40,000 square feet of buildable area, which is about less than an acre to have a buildable lot. So with that, we also talked about soil separation. Right now you need at least 3 feet of separation in order to have a buildable lot of the 40,000 square feet. Discussion came up with going to 1 foot or going to 2 feet. Why this is important is there's a lot of areas in the county that can't meet that 3-foot requirement, which makes them more or less developable. We're looking at like San Diego Township, parts of Big Lake. So we had a discussion with one of our local county surveyors, and there's, for example, property in San Diego Township where you could easily get a house on it, meets all the requirements for separation from low floor and a septic system, but they just can't meet that 36 inches. The whole property, they could get, majority of it is 30 inches, so that's an example of land that is in the county that is just not developable, but you could put a house, ADU, septic system. So that was a topic of discussion that we're gonna look further into. We're gonna present it to Planning Commission. Obviously, the townships have a huge input on it. And then another discussion, and this came from the comp plan, was more or less mixed use life cycle housing in the hamlets, obviously Palmer, San Diego, and Orac. Coming out of the comp plan, life cycle housing wasn't important. You know, obviously keeping people in their communities. So we are, you know, Mark can talk more about this. He did the comp plan, but the townhomes in the hamlets. That's what we have examples. You know, the main concern is townhomes on septic systems. Obviously, they can be done. We are going to get an example from, again, our local county surveyor engineer. That was done in Mille Lacs County. Townhomes in the rural area that accommodates a septic system. Twin homes, each one has their own tank, and they have a shared drain field. So that's what we're going to be presenting more to the hamlets. Again, you know, the kickback would be, you know, people coming into their community. Our approach is keeping you in your community. So that is the idea that we're moving forward with. Again, Planning Commission tonight, we're going to bring up these 3 topics. Obviously, each representative from their township will have their input. They can go back to their townships with more discussion. But with that, Mark, do you want to add anything?
You know, those kind of 3 areas that Mitch mentioned, lot sizes, you know, reducing down to 1.5 acres, soil separation, and then, you know, multifamily housing in our townships. None of those things, you know, the lot size has been consistent since 1996 roughly. Soil separation about the same amount of time. So it is a significant change. We will get a fair amount of pushback when we start proposing these changes. When you're talking about the going down in lot size, we're gonna be looking at, trying to tap into the housing study. Looking for examples for the limitations of, land that's available to develop in Sherburne County. If we see a reduction in the soil separation, which that all comes into play because we're dealing with septic systems. Septic systems have to have at least 1 foot of virgin soil, to install a septic system. We require 3 feet and 40,000 square feet of area that has that, and we require soil scientists to verify that. And so we're looking at making a reduction in that. So it really would open up a lot of parts of Sherburne County, portion of Livonia Township, big portions of Big Lake. San Diego Township is another example. But we will get some pushback because people never like that kind of proposed change. People like their space once they got it, they kind of want to keep it. So that's going to be a challenge for us. So trying to develop that nexus or reasoning for these reductions is going to be something that we're going to be leaning back into the EDA group, kind of the policies in your strategic plan, the housing issues that we face in Sherburne County. So that's what kind of the reasoning behind that. And then the multifamily housing was just when we really want to see those hamlets grow and strengthen and continue to be kind of rejuvenate those areas a little bit, whether it be with residential opportunities in that area. So.
What's next? What's the timeline from here?
Right now, we were looking at finalizing everything, I believe, in April or May. I think we're gonna push it out because now that the discussion on Tuesday was one that I wasn't really anticipating because we've been doing more breakout groups where we actually got everyone together around the table and had some very good conversations of what people want to see. Some people don't see enough is being changed. But then you have representatives from those townships that are more hesitant. It impacts them like it doesn't impact other people. So I think we're gonna spend the whole month, now that we kind of have an idea, we've been doing a lot of cleanup with the subdivision ordinance and the zoning ordinance. We're tweaking little things here and there. We're looking at, screening for solar farms. And I think now that we're kind of getting everything together, we're gonna really focus on the month of February of really, getting feedback from the townships, because we're gonna be throwing some memos at them because we need feedback. We were anticipating a year for the whole project, and that we started this in June. So if we can get it to the county board by June, that would be within our year. Obviously, we have some proposed deadlines that are earlier than that, but we really just don't want to rush this. And now that, like Mark said, we're gonna get a lot of pushback, and we really need the township support for anything that we do propose. And so that's where we have to, spend some time working with them, understanding that, and we do have the professionals. We do have the county, or we do have a professional surveyor, engineer that can help us in presenting these new standards of the 2 foot. Because without the changing from the 3 to 2 foot, and some people probably don't want, it to be developed, but as an EDA with housing, that would open more area up. So, June, it would be the year that we started it, but.
Yeah, and a lot of the areas that would be affected by this reduction in lot size and soil separation are pretty close to Highway 10 and Highway 169. And as far as like distance travel, so good housing opportunities there. Have been zoned for residential use for a long time. Someone could put a house out there, they just can't break those lots down smaller than 20 acres because of the planting requirements. So this would really alter that.
That's the example, is we're telling people you can't develop, split your property any further, but you can put a house and an ADU and a septic on it. So, because, like I said, the planting standards are so much more significant or restrictive than just putting a house. For, like Mark might have mentioned, you only need 1 foot of separation from low floor to the water table for a house. Septic, you only need 1 foot of, undisturbed soil for a mound. So if you can do all that, why can't we open it up to maybe a 2 foot separation, so at least you have a 1 foot buffer, and open up more property in the county for more lots.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's still quite a bit of more work to be done there. I think there's a lot of things that and I represent the EDA on that board, so lot sizes, things like that. Setbacks are what I'm focused on, and I don't think we've touched all the line items on that we need to, address, so. But yeah, part of the process. Any questions on that? All right. Brings us down to, Andrew, I think you're the, only commissioner left here, so do you have anything you wanna enlighten the board on today?
No, we'll just, last meeting was really just our organizational meeting, so we've got some stuff to dig into, coming up, but nothing for today.
All right. And, yeah, so our other local municipalities, what's going on in Becker?
Our EDA met Monday and they did select a consultant or recommending to our city council next week to take us through our housing study. So we're doing an updated comprehensive housing study. The one that they were recommending is Redevelopment Resources. They're a firm out of Wisconsin. So that'll go to council next week for their kind of final vote. Number of projects is working through some development pieces on some high density on the west side of the city that we continue to kind of talk about and work through concepts on. We had received a grant from the state to complete a road over there, about $400 plus thousand. So it's a 50% match through Minnesota Housing. And so part of that road, the development over there, the goal was to open up those lots. We had proposed in our proposal about 198 units, which is what the developer is currently working on. So be a mixed-use development, likely under a PUD. More to come kind of on that as they talk with council about some incentive pieces. So we're working through a number of those. And then industrial-wise, we've had a lot of additions and just kind of general construction over in our industrial park. So had some good things. It's kind of from our side.
Just to add to that, Becker Township has about 2 new plats with about 25 new homes coming, so it's good to see that there is some development.
We'll just go around the room.
Our EDA also met on Monday. They approved an economic development district. This will be kind of near where existing police department is, but the goal is to be able to use bond funds to build a public safety facility. So the city council and EDA will meet again on this on the 21st of this month. So we'll see if that project moves forward. EDA also discussed a revolving loan fund where our existing city hall is. There is the pizza factory. They are looking to relocate as we talk about redevelopment of that site. So the EDA did approve the revolving loan fund. The industrial park, there is continued construction out there. We currently, actually Brian and the county was helping us with this. We're getting footage. If you drive down the one road in our industrial park, you'll see multiple businesses under construction building their facilities, which is great to see out there. So I'll meet with Unzi after this to see some of that footage. The EDA owns a property kind of in our residential area, but it's right along the BNSF main line. This is an old fertilizer plant. The building, the one roof is caving in, there's water coming in, so we're trying to get that site to a point where there's less contamination, clean it up so that way there can be future development. The Minnesota Department of Ag has authority over that cleanup process because it was a fertilizer plant. So we're working with them to approve basically the cleanup plans. So that way we can go in there, take the buildings down. They're blighted. We have kids trying to break into them. So that's coming to a really good point where the state's involved, and we think we'll be able to get approval on demoing those buildings in the near future. So that's really good for that area. And then the last one on the housing side of things, we are working through multiple concept plans. I want to say in the concept phase right now, we're talking about 300-ish units. So the most recent one was about 80 units right along the Elk River. So they could be some really pretty lots. So the city council will be reviewing that this month from a concept plan phase.
And Cloud, we have been working on redoing our comprehensive plan. And with that, we are also doing our downtown revitalization. We're just trying to figure out what's the best avenue to revamp it. And then specifically economic development wise, our department, we are going through our strategic plan for the next few years. So we're just getting that started. And then also we are kicking off our BR&E program and plans and trying to work with Sherburne County on utilizing their system and just trying to get our businesses rocking and rolling. Outside of that, there are various things that we're working on, but those are kind of the main hitters at this time for this year.
All right, great. Any other comments to be made? Questions? All right, with that, I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Everybody, good meeting.
I'll send out the